name is Nicki Richmond.
My name is Gueller.
And we are 2/3 of the Shanty Project.
And we're sitting in Nicki's home office with one of her dogs at our feet, talking about our Shanty Project.
We're going to talk about the Holy Land.
Yeah.
Tell me about how you approached me for the project, or why you approached me for the project.
Well, I don't know if, who's all familiar with Getting Schneider. That was the name of the short film you made a couple years ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that was sort of why, that and the fact that you and I have known each other and been close for years, that was why I approached you.
So, do you know why I said yes?
Because you wanted to hang out with me.
Yeah.
I feel like as you become an adult, right? I think it's funny how you, growing up in the Holylands, I didn't ever give a crap about the history of it. Never even gave it a second thought, right? It wasn't until I left that I really started to think about it. I never thought about where these families came from or how long some of them have been in the Holylands.
Uh-huh. How we ended up there.
How we ended up there. None of that stuff mattered. But I also think for me particularly, I think part of it is that my family hasn't been in the Holylands for 200 years. Well,
yeah.
Nobody's been there 200 years.
So you're real jealous of the people who have that.
Totally.
Who have that
my dad
heritage.
wasn't even born there. When did it all start? When did people first start coming to the Holylands? That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then that evolved into, I feel like there's two pieces to that story, right? Where and how it all started, right? Which I think it's important to sort of conserve that story, but then also to find out what the stories nowadays are.
Yeah.
Which to me is, I think, the coolest part about the Shanty Project.
And what really drives me about this project and about the area and whatever is there's a really interesting amount of comedy. It's not that I think that the people are funny or that I want to make fun of them. At no point is that my intention. And I think that I pulled that off in Getting Schneider. I feel like I showed a side of the quirkiness of the area that it's comedy. The people are funny. We all have a very bizarre sense of humor. And I think that...
You think it's partially because of place?
I think it's because of place, but it's because of our surroundings and all the people that we were surrounded by growing up.
Place in the proper sense, the capital,
yeah,
the Holy Land.
I live in Madison, so if I come across somebody who is familiar with the area or knows somebody from the area, I find that person immediately relatable. And even though we might not have anything in common, I feel like we have this weird common bond that I don't think that a lot of places have that. The closeness of the community is certainly unique.
I feel like the past has a way of disappearing, right? You have a vague recollection of it, or you have a picture of it in your mind, right? And it gets, the further back it is, usually it's hazier and hazier and hazier, you know? So to me, the Shanty Project is a way to focus the picture, right? To take it from being 30 years from now, when people are trying to say what was the Holy Lands like in 2014, right? Instead of kids who were born in 2020, right?
Yeah.
In the Holy Lands. Instead of being I wonder what it was like there's an actual snapshot, or there's this thing that they can see that makes it clear, and they can see maybe one of their parents there's a picture of them, or a conversation that they had.
Yeah.
And it clears it up.
For me, just to add on to that, with all the technology that we have, it's so easy for things to get lost. It's good for us to organize it a little bit.
Yeah, I agree.